Story: An Indian-American woman in space. Kalpana Chawla. A news report: tragedy in space. U.S. Space Shuttle Columbia breaks into flames. In an unprecedented space tragedy, U.S. Space Shuttle Columbia, carrying India-born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla and 6 others, broke apart in flames as it streaked over Texas towards its landing strip on Saturday, 1st February 2003, killing all 7 on board. The shuttle lost contact with NASA at about 9 a.m., 19.30 hours first, as it came in for landing. It was flying at an altitude of over 200,000 feet and traveling at over 20,000 kilometers per hour when ground control lost contact with the shuttle. Columbia had lifted off on 16 January 2003 from the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. It had stayed in orbit for 16 days, and the 7-member crew conducted 80 experiments before it began its downward journey, which ended in tragedy. This was Columbia's 28th space flight, and the shuttle was said to be good for 100 flights. Word meaning: broke apart, crashed. On board, on or in aircraft. Explanation: U.S. Space Shuttle Columbia, which was carrying India-born American astronaut Kalpana Chawla and 6 others, crashed over Texas while landing on Saturday, 1st February 2003, killing all 7 on board. Sharp at 9 a.m. the shuttle lost its contact with NASA. It was flying at an altitude of over 200,000 feet, and its traveling speed was 20,000 kilometers per hour when ground control lost its contact with the shuttle. Columbia took its 28th flight on 16 January 2003 from the Kennedy Space Center, Florida. It stayed in orbit for 6 days, and crew members did 80 experiments before beginning its tragic journey towards the land. This shuttle had been claimed to be good for 100 flights more. Kalpana Chawla said that she never dreamed as a child in Karnal that she would cross the frontiers of space. It was enough that her parents allowed her to attend engineering college after she graduated from Tagore School. Word meaning: allowed, permitted. Explanation: Kalpana's birthplace was Karnal. She said that she never dreamed to ever cross the leaders of space even. It was enough for her that her parents permitted her to attend engineering college after her graduation from Tagore School. After a Bachelor of Science degree in Aeronautical Engineering, against great opposition from her father, she went for a master's degree to the United States of America. She later earned her Ph.D. in aerospace engineering. Kalpana Chawla was the first Indian-American woman astronaut to blast off from the launch pad at Cape Canaveral, Florida, and participate in a successful mission in space. Her family from India cheered along with staff at the Kennedy Space Center as they watched the Columbia liftoff. Word meaning: astronaut, a person trained to serve as a crew member of a spacecraft. Blast off, take off from a launching site. Explanation: despite her father's opposition, Kalpana went for a master's degree to the United States of America after completing her bachelor's degree in aeronautical engineering. Later, she did her Ph.D. in aerospace engineering. She was the first Indo-American woman astronaut to take off from a rocket launching site at Cape Canaveral, Florida for a successful mission in space. Her family from India cheered along with the staff at the Kennedy Space Center as they watched the Columbia liftoff. Kalpana was born in Karnal, Haryana, but was a naturalized U.S. citizen, married to flight instructor Jean-Pierre Harrison. Besides being an astronaut, she was licensed to fly single and multi-engine land airplanes, single-engine seaplanes, and gliders. She was also a certified flight instructor. After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana began to consider another challenge, applying to NASA's Space Shuttle program. She was first hired as a research scientist at NASA. In 1994, she was selected by NASA for training as an astronaut. Word meaning. Besides, apart from. Gliders, fixed-wing aircraft. Explanation. Kalpana's birthplace was Karnal, Haryana, but she became a U.S. citizen. She was married to flight instructor Jean-Pierre Harrison. Apart from being an astronaut, she was adept at flying single and multi-engine land airplanes, single-engine seaplanes, and gliders. She was also a certified flight instructor. After qualifying as a pilot, Kalpana took another challenge and applied to NASA's Space Shuttle program. First, she joined NASA as a research scientist. In 1994, she was selected for training as an astronaut by NASA. When asked what it was like being a woman in her field, she replied, "I really never, ever thought, while pursuing my studies or doing anything else, that I was a woman, or a person from a small city, or a different country. I pretty much had my dreams like anyone else and I followed them. And people who were around me, fortunately, always encouraged me and said, if that's what you want to do, carry on. Word meaning. Pursuing, following or continuing. Explanation. People asked her about her feelings as being a woman in the field. She replied that she never thought that she was a woman or she belonged to a small city or from another country. Rather, she had her own dreams and she followed them like any other person at that place. And fortunately, people in her surroundings always motivated her to pursue her dreams and carry on with the arenas of her choice. Kalpana's first space mission in the Space Shuttle, Columbia, was 15 days, 16 hours and 34 minutes long. During this time she went around the Earth 252 times, traveling 10.45 million kilometers. The crew included a Japanese and a Ukrainian astronaut. The crew performed experiments such as pollinating plants to observe food growth in space, and tests for making stronger metals and faster computer chips, all for a price tag of about $56 million. Word meaning. Pollinating, the process of taking pollen from one place to another for fertilization. Explanation. Columbia was her first space mission. It took 15 days, 16 hours and 34 minutes to complete it. She covered 10.45 kilometers while orbiting around the Earth for 252 times. The crew had a Japanese and a Ukrainian astronaut. The crew tried to pollinate plants to check food growth in space and conducted tests for making stronger metals and faster computer chips, all for a price tag of about $56 million. On the Saturday night when the news about the Columbia disaster broke, there was shock and disbelief. The town of Karnal spent a sleepless night as thousands of households stayed glued to their television sets in the hope that Kalpana and the crew had somehow survived. A journalist wrote, "She was a heroine. It takes enormous ability to become an astronaut. You need to know a lot about everything, from biology to astrophysics to aeronautical engineering. In this age of super specialization, you must have an encyclopedic knowledge to be an astronaut. Her achievement is awe-inspiring." Word meaning. Disaster, a sudden accident or natural calamity that causes damage or loss of life. Disbelief, lack of belief. Glued, sticked. Enormous, huge. Encyclopedic, comprehensive, complete. Astrophysics, branch of astronomy that studies physical nature of celestial bodies, stars, etc. Aeronautical, science of building aircrafts. Awe-inspiring, stunning, astonishing, amazing, remarkable. Explanation. People were filled with grief and were not able to believe the news of the Columbia disaster. They were stuck to their television sets to get the news of Kalpana's survival. A journalist called her a heroine. It is a matter of huge potential to be an astronaut. One needs to have a thorough knowledge of every subject from biology to astrophysics to aeronautical engineering. Her achievements were actually remarkable. For millions of young Indians, the story of Kalpana Chawla, a girl from a small town who touched the skies, had become an inspiration. In a message that she sent from aboard the space shuttle, Columbia, to the students of her college in Chandigarh, Kalpana said, "The path from dreams to success does exist. May you have the vision to find it, the courage to get onto it. Wishing you a great journey." There will surely be many who start off on this journey to fulfill their dreams. Word meaning: aboard, on an aircraft or spacecraft. Explanation: Kalpana's story stimulated thousands of young minds to do something creative and innovative. She touched the skies and became an inspiration for many. She even sent a message from Columbia to the students of her college in Chandigarh. She said, "The path from dreams to success does exist. May you have the vision to find it, the courage to get onto it. Wishing you a great journey." There must be many people who might have even started their journey to make their dreams a reality.